One of the most exciting nights of the year is about to begin here at California as NBC Sports will show you live coverage of the Axalta 400 from Auto Club Speedway. Typical late summer weather here at California. It is a hot Saturday night. The sun's still beating on the track fairly hard. You see the sun is kind of starting to set in the background here, behind here, nearby the San Gabriel Mountains. Qualifying happened earlier today. One of the night races this year where we qualified the cars and raced that same night. And again, for the second week in a row, third week in a row, a Hendrick Motorsports driver is going to lead the field to the green flag tonight. And this is the second week in a row Jacob Tube will be bringing the field to the green flag. With Hunter Miller, who won last Sunday at Darlington, in a race that saw nearly half the field crash and nearly half the field fail to finish. But meantime, you got to look at the chase battle. Currently, as it stands, you got Robert Smith. He is currently 19th in points, just below the 400-point marker. He has to win to get in, or unless one of the guys in front of him has any problems. So we got some pretty interesting names fighting for their chase lives tonight. 6 drivers looking to fight for 4 spots for the remaining 4 spots in the chase tonight in California. And when the checkered flag falls in about 3.5 hours, we will know who the chase for the 2017 IHOP Cup will be. So, let's take a look at couple cars are going to backup cars today, basically from jumping the seams. Apollo Moon in the 88 jumped the seam in the qualifying lap, hit the wall. Derek Lewis spun twice in his qualifying lap. He will spun and ripped the nose out of the car. He will have to go to a backup car for tonight's race. Anyways, without further ado, see drivers are strapping in. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Row 1, we have the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet and the Great Clips Chevrolet. Row 2, we have the Autotrader.com Ford and the Lilly Diabetes Ford. Row 3, we have the Zestfully Clean Ford and the Tide Toyota. Row 4 finds the Dow Chemical Chevrolet and the FedEx Express Toyota. Row 5 finds the Furniture Row Chevrolet and the Busch Beer Chevrolet. Row 6 finds the Lowe's Home Improvement Chevrolet and the Pennzoil Platinum Ford. Row 7 finds the Aris Internet Tercel Toyota and the Menard Chevrolet. Row 8 finds the Caterpillar Chevrolet and the Haas AutoNation Chevrolet. Row 9 finds the Advocare Ford and the Motorcraft Ford. Row 10, we got hometown kid Joseph Lombard, who lives not far from Auto Club Speedway up in Simi Valley, California. This is a home game for him. And the McDonald's Chevrolet. Row 12 is the Nature's Bakery Chevrolet and the 14 car. While we look through the rest of the field, let's see if we can mic up outside pulse sitter Hunter Miller. Hey, Hunter Miller, this is Wally Dawn back up in the NBC booth. You got us? 10-4, Wally. You must be feeling pretty hot about getting the team back on track with a win Sunday at Darlington. How do you feel about your car tonight? Yeah, actually really good. We brought the setup we had in Michigan a few weeks ago. Granted, we didn't finish very well there, but we had a very fast race car, just tuned up on some things in the final practice on Friday. And our Great Clips Chevrolet expects to run up front pretty often tonight. Hopefully we can win and go back to back and possibly get another win and boost us in the chase. All right, thanks for your brief conversation with us. Hope you have a good race tonight. 10-4, thanks, Wally. He is one of 8 onboard cameras that will be in use for tonight's race. What are some things that we need to look for there? This track is going to change quite a bit. Right now, the sun's out and beating pretty hard on this racetrack. On this racetrack here in Auto Club, it's right now turn 3 is where the sun is currently in the process of setting. As it sets further, it will go further and further into the night. It's going to set even further below, just making vision more and more of a problem for these drivers. So typically, these guys don't really run tinted visors like they do at day races, or like they did at Darlington on Sunday. Like you're looking on board with the 48 and with the 4 Dylan Murray. He's got sunglasses, obviously, but he has a tinted visor that he has a clean ear visor he can flip down going into 3. Down in turn 3 and just use it just to protect his vision because it's pretty blind. It's going to be pretty scary going into that corner. So let's look at our 8 onboard cameras. We got the Hunter Miller in the Great Clips Chevrolet. He will be our first onboard camera tonight. Eric Gamer with the Furniture Row Bass Pro Shops on board. He will be on board number 2. Apollo Moon starting shotgun tonight. Shotgun to the field. He will be with the Axalta coating systems on board, running his Axalta paint scheme for this race tonight. Dylan Murray with the Bush on board. Zox Moon with the Pennzoil Platinum on board. Caleb Hoffman with the Eris Internet on board. Derek Lewis with the Target hit Samsung on board tonight. And the pole sitter, Jacob 2 with the Napa Know-How on board. He will be bringing this field to the green flag. And remember, all these cameras are going to be shown in full 720, in full HD tonight. So you look at the race menu. So we got 13 laps tonight. We'll be making up this distance, the 4-mile distance, 34 cars, just like always. This track is going to change quite a bit from when they qualified earlier today. And this is going to be one of the most nerve-wracking nights for those 6 drivers we mentioned Tonight is going to be one of the most nerve-wracking nights of their lives, if not the most nerve-wracking night of their lives. Pace car is leaving the track in front of a sellout crowd tonight at California. Hendrick teammates are going to bring the field down. Jacob Tube, Hunter Miller lead him down. The final regular season race in the race this year is underway at California. Great start by the 24. Probably the cleanest start we've had all year, going through those first two turns. And especially lately, too. Because the past two races at Bristol and Darlington, we've had crashes on lap in the early going. Saw the amazing jump the 24 got. He's well ahead of the 5 and the 2. Who are side by side for second. Kind of as you can see, the 20 car is trying to use the middle lane, which it's unique about California is that it is a multi-lane racetrack. You see guys will be on the high side right here. You see the 16 up high, kind of got the wall a little bit. Got to be careful going deciding on how high you go in the corners. Otherwise, you're just going to end up getting the wall. You see the 16 lost about 4 spots on everybody else. Jacob Tube leads lap number 1. Derek Lewis, remember, he locked it. Him and Apollo Moon locked in Sunday night at Darlington. In a way you can visualize at home with who is locked into the chase, who needs a win, and who can make it on points. If you are locked into the chase, you will be marked with a green marker. If you're on the bubble of making the chase or not, like Alvin Alonso, who started this tonight 14th in points. He's marked in yellow. If you're somebody who's red, like you see the 31 pop up on your screen, you are eliminated from contention in the chase, and the only way you can get in is by winning. So far, the 2 looks to be probably see if he can kick it in here. He just flew by 5, and it looks like he wants a shot at the lead. But the 24 just gets a better run off. One thing these drivers talked about, too, in the pre-race is how hot it's going to be. So NASCAR has let the teams run the same way to package to keep the driver cool. Here, like we did last week at Darlington, due to the fact that California gets very hot in mid to late September. So it's, in a way, it's going to be like a pretty tight endurance race, almost like the Coke 600s. We got 4 cars fighting for 6th. The 3 of Jonathan Morrison takes the 6th spot away from the 11, who hasn't really moved much from the start. So the 4 also is going to get the car to work on the bottom. in the corners so far, I haven't really seen a lot of I've seen a lot of guys just they're setting. It's slick. You've seen a lot of guys. They're moving around. You're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing, especially if the sun sets. And it just, vision becomes more and more of a problem as the sun begins to set. The track's going to be pretty grippy. I mean, you look in the shade right now in turn 3 that you see the 5. Maybe he's trying to rim ride around the shade. He's already got quite a bit of grip. He can make the car stick, where the 17 is currently out where the sun's being basically baking on the track. Just going to use this time to get grip. And the 20 again is going to try to make it 3 wide for third. And it looks like Brendan Little may be having a problem. Possibly smoke from the contact with the wall in lap 1. Bill. Brendan Little got on the radio and told crew chief Matt Pusha, said, "We may have a left rear going down, right rear going down, boys. We may have a right rear." They have told him to try to get down to pit road as quickly as he can. He's currently stuck up on the outside lane, trying not to damage it further than he did. See him trying to get down 27, 31. See the 6 right there. Brendan Little was in the chase with his win at Portland and was locked in permanently with his 11th place run Sunday afternoon at Darlington. So in a way, this is just disaster preparation for what would happen in the chase. Happen in the chase if anything happens to that team. Also, Hunter Miller is having a pretty tough time struggling, just trying to find grip. As a few moments ago, he got on the radio and said this: Car is fucking uncomfortable to control, dude. It's like, it's evil. I've been passed by the 20 and the 17 like they weren't even there. 10-4, see what we got. We'll wait till the first caution. Dude, I'm so tired of you telling me to wait until the first caution. Make up a damn decision. Meanwhile, Brendan Little has slowed his car down. He is on the apron, which means he is down on the pit road, making his way to pit road, trying to keep the car out of trouble, and around he goes. Sooner or later, that tire had to let go. Caution is out for the first time tonight. Actually kept it straight. If he can keep going, he'd be fine. And just when the 24 was about to get by and down the backstretch and lap the 56 too. In the meantime, we're now going to be figuring out who gets placed where for the restart. Another quickie yellow for the 16 team. bringing their car down pit road. Guess it's time for damage control on the 16 car. Getting set for the restart. Some teams opted for track position, while some guys actually just offered to stay out. Jacob Tube took 4 tires the first pit stop. He is going to be restarting third. You got Alvin Alonso. He is one of the he is locked the drivers that's fighting for a spot. And Robert Smith, he is also fighting for a spot in the playoffs too. He's fighting for basically his chase hopes in this season. Right here. As we wait things out, we're going to get ready for yet another restart. Well, we're going to be getting ready for the restart here. See how crazy these restarts will get. Now the sun setting relatively quickly. Beyond the San Gabriel Mountains, the lights have come on. Completing 4 laps in tonight's Pop Secret 400. Axalta 400 presented by Pop Secret. Let's go ahead and take a look at the restart, and let's listen to spotter coverage. Scan All 43 presented by NASCAR Heat 2. Ready, bring it down. All right, green flag. 48 shoving you. 48's shoving you pretty good. 48's going to shove you hard going into 1. 48's going to shove you hard. Okay, 4's coming with you. 3 wide middle, 3 wide bottom. All right, 3 wide. You're on the bottom. 3 wide. 3 wide. 3 wide. Clear. All right, man. Let's get this baby settled into rhythm. 4 outside, still on your door. 4 outside, still on your door. 4 outside, 4 outside. Side, corner, 4 outside, 4 outside, 4 outside. Side, corner, corner. Still there. There, 2 back to the 4. 4, all right. You're good. 4 is clear. Now you got the 17 pulling even. Side by side for the lead here at Auto Club Speedway. Look at that. Jacob Tube pushed back to the front by the 4 as he makes his way into turn number 3. And you see the pass the 14 made? Almost losing it on that restart. And he dove on turn 1, past nearly 7 cars in one pass. He's with the 20. As we make our way off of 4. The 18 also taking advantage of the track changes, trying to rim ride around this place. Looks like he is basically up on the curb, up on the corner right there, up in basically the rim of the racetrack, pulling a Kyle Larson essentially. few weeks ago. Almost. Wow, it's tight. Almost getting in the back of the 22. Right here. As he has to get it. As you see here, this battle of 6 cars, he's going on the outside pretty fast. Doesn't see the 22 just close the door on him. He closes the door, gets the wall, gets into the back. The 18 gets into the back of him. And we got cars bouncing off each other. Oh, turn 2. Two cars get together. And they're Richard Childress teammates. Looks like got a third car involved in that as well. That is the 6. A Peyton Beasley. This is huge. This is huge development here in the chase. Second caution is out tonight. The 27. Now, in this, basically, what happened was the 27 and the 41 actually hooked fenders. And basically the 27 was spinning, and the 31 was possibly trying to check up so he doesn't run into his teammate, but in turn, gets hit in the back by the 6. Now, at this point, the 31, he's spinning up the track. The 27 is well out of the way. Then thought the 31 got clear, then gets hit by the 7. And you see the 1 making all those lane changes. Same with the 43, almost getting, basically 2 cars almost getting snatched up and all that. Hot Wheels 44, frustrating end to what looked to be a promising midsummer. There's a few times he actually was in prime position to win, but unfortunately got shut down. You see the 6 car, he's just stop and get out, stop and get out, stop and get out. Get out of the car and stop. Just stop, bud. That didn't look to be big until you saw the 31 car coming back up across the racetrack, right basically in the path of the 7 car. Luckily, the 6 stopped near a fire hydrant, so another rough night for Jack Roush. The 27 down pit road, trying to get the rear fender pulled out. Chris Washer, he surprisingly won this race won the spring race here in season 1. Had a crash that injured him in season 2, and then season 3, and then basically since then he's been mediocre, back of the pack. While we clean up this caution, we'd like to remind you Sunday Night Football returns tomorrow on NBC Sports. Super Bowl 2016 rivals, the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton, take on the Broncos under a new quarterback, Trevor Siemian. They're going to be doing battle in the Mile High City. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on NBC Sports. And before that, you can watch part of our NBC Saturday night movie, which we normally run around this time, but with the race going on, we kind of can't. Part of it, also, before this, you can watch the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Join SpongeBob and Patrick in their adventure to rescue the King's Crown. That can be seen at 5 p.m. Central. 3 p.m. Central tomorrow, before NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Pretty hefty action-packed schedule. Also, Monday night, season premiere of The Voice with Blake Shelton, premiering at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Now, on to the NASCAR side of things. Next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, NASCAR kicks off the first round of the chase with a battle at Loudon Kart of the Sylvania 300. Coverage begins at noon Eastern on NBC Sports. And then basically the next 4 races are going to be seen on the NBC family of networks. Unless anything comes up. Most of them, then after that, it's going to be a Saturday night race in Nashville, Tennessee. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the round of 16 concludes at Dover. Coverage beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern to be NASCAR Up Series from Dover, presented by McDonald's, beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Then that is the next 3 races. The SpongeBob movie, though. I watched the second one with my grandkids Thursday. They loved it. I also watched the first one with my grandkids, too. Meantime, Dylan Murway got on the radio and told his crew chief about any engine issues. Got more on that, Matt? Dylan Murway got on the radio and told his crew chief, Rodney Childers, that his car may be down a cylinder. They're going to push. They'll try not to push it. They're going to try not to push it on the restart. In fact, Rodney Childers has actually instructed the 4 team to bring the car to pit road so they can look at it. Definitely going to be an interesting restart, which explains why we've held off the restart for another lap around. We are halfway through this race, actually. They have held off this next restart. That way they didn't want any accidents to happen. So now everybody shifts up a spot. That means Jacob Tube, the guy who's essentially dominated this entire race, and is just using this race to see if he can have any momentum going forward into the postseason. We will look at Dylan Murway's. He will take his car to the garage. His night is done. We will get an interview with him later. As Jacob 2 brings him down to another restart. Green flag. Oh, around goes the 24. Down to the inside wall. Caution is out again. Ugh. 2 just ran us over. You all right there, buddy? Yeah, I'm fine. Radiator's killed. We hit the end of the pit wall. Just like that, in these past few laps, past 4 or so laps, we actually have eliminated 5 cars. Well, technically we haven't eliminated the 4 yet. We're just the 6th. They are looking at repairing the car so Peyton Beasley can get out and gain minimal points. But anyways, Bill Weber is caught up with Peyton Beasley. Bill? I'm with Peyton Beasley down here in the garage, and Peyton, did you see any? Did you have much of a chance to avoid this wreck? Not really. I didn't see my spotter was telling me clear low, clear low. I was trying to see if I can get an opportunity to get low and away from this accident, but unfortunately, the 31 checked up before I even had a chance to react. And I ran in the back room. Really hate it for our guys. They deserve a lot better than this, personally. See if 31 is starting up behind me, getting back on the racetrack. See, our crew is trying to fix our car. I really hate it for our guys. Just hopefully we can get this thing fixed, get some points, and hopefully some other bad luck happens to the guys that are looking for spots in the chase. I'm just glad you're all right. Dave? Well, I'm walking with Dylan Murway to his hauler. Dylan, you looked like you had a pretty good car tonight. Can you just tell us what happened? I don't know. We were working pretty well at the 24. Then the engine just hadn't really given us no warning. Just with NASCAR putting in same-day qualifying and racing at some night races this year, just there isn't really much. We didn't really have much time to wear the engine down to cool the engine off between the session. And we couldn't change the engine or we'd go to the back, so we decided to go with the same engine we used in qualifying. She just let go. She was just dropping cylinders, and I didn't want to blow up in front of the 24 and cause a wreck. Really hate it for our guys, honestly. Really hate it for the Busch Beer guys. A lot of them were looking forward to getting another win just to use some momentum to get to the chase. Considering we didn't really perform so hot, hasn't really performed so hot last 3 weeks, especially at Darlington, Bristol with the late wreck, Darlington with the tire problem, and then tonight with the engine. But you can't really hope for everything in this world. But on to next week. And a few moments ago, Alan Gustafson, crew chief of the 24, was seen walking down to the pit of the 2. They're about 5 stalls apart. And now they're having a discussion. Yeah, now our fucking car is out of the damn race because of you. How's it my fault your driver didn't go? See, officials telling him to get away from there. Get out of the 2 pit box. And a little bit of shoving between the 224 pit crews who were also following Alan Gustafson as well. We didn't really catch much interviews, but Marty Snyder is down with Alan Gustafson, walking back to the 24 pit stall. Marty, Alan, a great night just got ruined by one battery restart. Can you tell us what happened? The 2 needed to use his head. It's plain to see what happened. We had a great car, and the 2 just ran us over on the restart. Do you feel any pain? Have you talked with your driver yet about what happened? He is currently out of the care center now. I'm going to go interview him in a few moments. Have you talked with your driver? He radioed we got dumped. He'll pay him back. I know it. Jacob Dube's not the guy to push around too many times. That's Alan Gustafson, very upset with what happened on the racetrack. And looks like walking to the 24 hauler to probably discuss some things with the 4, with Jacob Tube. We will catch an interview with the 24 in a few moments. He is out of the care center, but now Nate Sherman is put in position to possibly win on this restart if we go green all the way. This is going to be probably one of the craziest restarts we've seen all season long. You got guys that haven't won all season. KFC Cup Series, Zach Speed, Joseph Lombard, currently driving with his father's name written on the back of the car. As it was known that a few weeks ago, Joseph Lombard has lost his father. So his brother, Zachary Lombard, is in attendance in the 43 pit stall. He is the 3rd pit stall in, so I'm sure he'd love to win one for his family, win one for his team, and just win one for him personally. Up front, Nate Sherman and Robert Smith. Robert Smith is fighting to keep his chase hopes alive. Nate Sherman will take the outside, see how his car handles. Hoping to get a push from his teammate. We'll see how things are going to play out. Survey says, here we go. 17 really laid off from the start that time. And look at this, 3 wide already. The 14 down on the apron going into 1. Side by side, look at that. Joseph Lombard's going to try to make it 3 wide and follow the 14, possibly to the front of the field for the lead coming off 2. Look at this. All this crazy racing. Joseph Lombard has not raced season 1, filled in for Mason Powers at starting at North Carolina, and has put on a lot of just quite the show for the 43 team, giving them the sponsors they need to hopefully net a win if he wins, it could really shake up points of the two. The points, could it really knock somebody out of the top 16 with a win? This could be one of the most interesting chases we've seen basically in the history of this series. KFC Cup Series, clear to the front of the field. Joseph Lombard is the support of two Fords behind him. 5 to go. Nate Sherman waiting behind in 5th. We could be seeing probably one of the greatest battles for the ages right here. As Zox Moon may have a problem. She is down on the apron, possibly after contact with the 18. It is a 5-car battle at the front of the field. Well, technically 6, because now we got a bunch of guys trying to mix things up. Joseph Lombard in the 43. Can he put the 43 in victory lane? Trying to drive it in deep on the apron. The 2, Robert Smith to the outside. 3 wide for the lead. It is a Ford. That was a Ford swarm on the 14 car. That was a Ford 3-car swarm for the lead. Now this is probably the weirdest top 10 we've seen in history. Now I've got a... And anyways, we still have a 6-car battle for the win. We got more cars behind them still fighting as well, as the 41 is spun. Do they wave the caution though? Yes, they do. That is another driver who is on the bubble in the chase. And this was just as the 6 of Peyton Beasley was coming out onto the racetrack. Now we have yet another restart. With probably yet another crazy finish in California. Always the night races that produce the intense, hectic kinds of few wide finishes that you normally see in the IndyCar series. Or, heck, maybe the Truck series. Even the Truck series has some pretty intense finishes. And it looked like anyways, we're talking about the 41. He was 3 to the good. He was sitting well inside the 13th position. And he basically got turned. Then the nose dug in the grass and... See, Hunter Rizzoni, he's got the front bumper dragging. He could tape the car up. Now, in the meantime, with how high the 2 of Robert Smith has been running, he is well in the chase. He started tonight 19th in points. He is in the chase right now with how tight he's running. However, if the 43 wins, he could be knocked out. So, I mean, what do you do? Do you help the 43 or do you go balls out in turn 1? Or do you go for it? Again, we looked at the tickets to your track, to the local track. You can order them off the track website or on NASCAR.com. You got New Hampshire, 12 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Then out to Nashville Saturday night. That will also be seen on NBC. And then Dover to end off the round of 16. Then out to Talladega to kick off the round of 12. That's going to be always a fun one. 12:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC Sports. And then Charlotte at noon Eastern on NBC. Basically, all these races, except for Phoenix, will be seen on NBC. The night race, so in the meantime, .43 Joseph Lombard, 3 laps to go. Can Joseph Lombard get his first career win? In a way, RPM was Richard Petty Motorsports made an announcement Thursday before these guys got to the track on Friday that Joseph Lombard will be driving the 43 next year. Which basically means Mason Powers will be moving to the 9. Which Mason Powers also revealed on his Twitter after his crash at Indy that he will be back as early as possible. They're trying to shoot for him being back in the Daytona 500 after his crash. So they're shooting for either a Daytona return or Las Vegas return next year. And by the way, Las Vegas is going to be a night race next year. Now, 3 laps to go. This is going to be one of the craziest restarts we've seen all year. I don't care who you are. This is going to be one of the craziest restarts we will see. Here we go. 3 laps to settle it here at Daytona. Nate Sherman pulling dead even with 2 going into 1. Oh, wow. That was a good move right there. Side by side with the 43 and the 17. Fighting for the lead and for the win here at California. Nate Sherman pulling dead even with the 2. Albin Alonso even with them off 2. That's probably as good as you can hope. Crash behind him. Big. Up in the air goes the 48. Oh my God. Get low. Low if you can. Also involved, the 3 is in it. The 5 is in it as well. Oh, big time crash for Jonathan Morrison. Wow. Caution. Probably one of the craziest crashes we've seen in Californian history. Nate Sherman turned by the two up into the catch, reportedly got airborne up into the catch fence on the back straightaway. As you see, the window net is down, and he is all right after one of the most unbelievable crashes we have seen in IHOP Cup Series history. Up in the air, basically in the middle of the pack. Look at the damage on the fence. Hunter Miller on fire. See, he's got the window net down. Also involved, see the 78 damage to his car. Now, look to me like KFC Cup Series made a crazy dive to the left where they were going 3 wide. And amazingly, he took the lead in probably one of the craziest 3 wide moves we've seen all year. You see the 3 of Jonathan Morrison gingerly getting out of the car after such a big blow to the inside wall. He's out. Nate Sherman out of breath after that hit and basically flip into the catch fence, but he is out. Due to the damage of the catch fence and the crash happening with 3 laps to go, due to the possible wall damage, due to the catch fence damage and actually the damage to the safer barrier, NASCAR is actually considering ending this race under caution. Which means, if they do, however, I doubt it, but if they do, KFC Cup Series will finally get revenge and avenge his encumbered win back at Michigan in June, which was unfortunately taken away due to timestamps. Unbelievable crash here at California. In fact, NASCAR is actually going to end this race here. So next time by, they will reach the new, well, now shortened white flag lap here at California. And right now, if the chase were to stay this way, the 14-2 and the would make their way in and claim one of the last 2 spots, and so would the 11. And the 1, the 21, the 41, and the 6 will be knocked out of the chase due to their wins. Even though they got wins, they weren't in the top 16. Come checkered flag. You see, look at just the damage to these cars. You see some workers directing traffic around in what was probably the craziest flip in recent memory. Flip turned to crash. Well, it wasn't a flip. It was just more the 48 going into the fence and Cruz getting out to the car. Basically, the 2 got turned on the nose and then the 3 was right there to just throw him into the catch fence pretty much. And just look at the damage on the fence back there. KFC Cup Series, who put himself in the right position after several late cautions. In fact, the race is going to end right here. Just a lap short of scheduled distance. If the car were to set back down, he would have been fine, but the 3 was right there to basically propel him into the catch fence. KFC Cup Series will come to the checkered flag, win the final regular season race of season number 4 of the NASCAR IOP Cup Series, and he will punch his ticket to the chase for the championship next Sunday at New Hampshire. He will be one of 16 men. Joseph Lombard putting on an impressive second-place run. However, the 22, with the problems she had, she is 1 point out of the chase for the championship. And due to the severe damage, they are going to tell these cars to bring them down pit lane, but 14 can stay on the racetrack. And what a finish. I'm sure Nate Sherman, he was the car that flipped, that basically got flown into the fence on the final restart. And probably one of the weirdest and scariest crashes in recent memory at California. The 48 of Nate Sherman flew into the catch fence, destroying the car. In fact, the reason NASCAR has decided to go through this, they did not want to throw the red flag and keep the fans for a really, really long time, because the damage was so severe, because he essentially was going up into the wall after the first hit, and then the 3 flipped him up. And basically put him in the catch fence. And luckily he is out and walking, which is probably the best news we could probably just imagine. Oh, wow. Amazingly, with some of the crashes we've seen tonight, only 5 cars failed to finish. However, with the efforts Peyton Beasley had, he came into this race 7 points, 27 points out. He looked to be in for a moment until that wreck. He is out and done for the chase, the championship, out and done. So, let's take a look at your unofficial results, and then we'll show off the 16 chase drivers. KFC Cup Series in, and if you see a green marker next to the driver's name, that means they are in and members of the 2017 chase. The 88 was probably the only driver that could get locked in consistently on points due to how consistent he was basically all year. Then you see the rest of the field scrolling by. And now, your official chase for the cup. Returning this cup here at Loudon, which will be starting next Sunday on NBC Sports. Noah Spalding did get his win, but he was not in the top 16. He is out. Then you see the rest of the 16-man chase. The goal, if you make it in, if you win any of these next 3 races in the round of 16, you move on. If you do not, let me make this clear. If you do not make it into the round of 6 win, you can point your way in, which we've seen drivers do that before. You can point your way in, but many drivers want to win, not be consistent and point their way in. These 16 drivers are going to be put under a lot of pressure in these next 10 weeks with a pretty brutal chase coming up. New Hampshire, then the old racetrack in Nashville, which currently may possibly be will be a night race. And then Dover to end the round of 16. The first time Dover has been on the schedule since season 1. And then Talladega to open up the round of 12, which round of 12 is basically a wild card month. 3 racetracks where basically one move can end your chase hopes. You got Charlotte, which is probably the least wild card-ish out of anybody here. So you got Talladega to open up the round of 12, Charlotte to kind of break off the excitement between the brutalness of Talladega, and then Bowman Gray, which is essentially considered a car demolition derby. And then you move to the round of 8, which is Texas, which is going to be a race to the Texas sunset. Going to be a final Saturday afternoon race, and then Friday night, the only race in the chase that is not going to be seen on NBC Sports, Phoenix International Raceway, run under the lights. Then Brighton High School to end out the round of 8, and then we decide who the 4 champion drivers are at Atlanta. And then that's the rest of the end of the season, and then speed weeks. Your 16-man class for the champion chase for the champion IHOP Cup Series Championship. 16 men who were lucky enough to get in on points and other drivers' misfortunes. They get a fight for a championship, while the other 17 essentially get to use these next 10 races as a test. Congratulations to KFC Cup Series for finally scoring a win this season. We will see you next Sunday at Loudon for chase race number 1 in the round of 16. Cards beginning at noon Eastern on NBC. See you there.